seconds. As soon as you've gone past 50 seconds, you can immediately stop. Now, I must admit, this is much easier than the malt shop, in my opinion. Just learning the dodges, because you're only a maximum of going up 1 per second. You're not, going from all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom instantly to try to grab the next heart. They only can go a maximum of 1 step up or 1 step down. So thank God for that. But I still don't understand why, after as soon as 50 seconds pass, or after I've hit the 50th bully, why all of a sudden that's the key in order to pass. But as you can see, the light is getting darker. I officially think that's what's going on. We've now entered like the evening, as it has like a nice orange-brown Reese's. It really looks like Reese's cup, like Reese's peanut butter cup wrappings, going on this level, along with some weird green and pink fungus as well growing from the sides. Because I don't know how everything else, whatever, but everything else is it's either Reese's Cups or it's pink fungus. Whatever. There's really nothing interesting to say about the street level. Like I said before, it comes down to memorization, as well as just plain luck in order to complete this game. Because the Hornets half the time are what takes me out. Either them or there's incoming homing bullies that just walk directly at me. Now, thankfully for the bowling balls, I can at least take out most stuff that's in front of me. If I'm going to accidentally run into some stuff, I can at least take it out with a bowling ball, so they give you that. So at least that's not as bad. But that's about the only good thing I can say about the entire game, is at least they give you a projectile weapon to throw at enemies. But is that really a plus? As I wrap up another street here. And it'll rack all my points right back up. It's just useless counting up of points, because on the NES, when we're playing Back to the Future, I'm going for the high score. I need to make sure I get the high score on Back to the Future. And I'm sure there's a world record on it. There's a world record on pretty much every video game now, but I don't know what's wrong with you if you had to spend the time to get the world record on Back to the Future. It just seems not worth the time. Because, it's just... Really. It's one of those worthless records. Having the fastest time in Mario, people care about. But having the high score in Back to the Future just shows the world that you played this game for way more than you ever should have. As I try to dodge as many Hornets as possible, and reach the end of another street, as I come to a 4-way crossing that looks exactly the same as every other 4-way crossing, at least with the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup color scheme that they've decided to go with in this level. Now, we only have one more level, and then we make it to the dance, and then we have another one of the absolutely positively annoying minigames to deal with. And this one, the upcoming minigame, I probably say is the hardest of all of them. It's definitely, I think, the hardest of them, because most people don't make it past the bullies. But after doing the next one, I must say that yes, the following one coming up at the dance is the hardest minigame in the game. Wow, that's a lot to say. But there we go. Okay, good. We're at the end of the street. The score's going to rack up some more, as I'm going to cross over 50,000 points. Awesome. And now that that's finished up, here we go with the actual dance. Oh yes, the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Here we go. Marty's rocking out on stage with his electric guitar. And for this one, what we have to do is catch music notes. Once again, didn't we do this in Popeye, the arcade game? I don't know. Seems like we did. But basically, you have the different music notes that you have to deal with. The 1/8 note, the flat, and the sharp. And for it all, you basically have to get, when you're all the way down, the flat notes can only go to the bottom. So if you see the B shape, the lowercase, that, you're gonna go all the way down. If you see the sharp sign, which is your other sign for numbers as well, in case you don't know what the sharp is, you have to go all the way up. It's also the darkest colored of the notes, so they're always up. And then the 1/8 note, just like the regular music note, is always in the middle. The thing is, though, if you've been paying attention, I have missed some notes because it's almost impossible to get every note. Your stupid meter on the side immediately drops. And of course, you have to fill it all the way up to the heart in order to complete it. If you don't get it all the way up, you fail and your parents don't fall in love. And you do have a time limit, in case you're wondering. you can see at the very bottom the picture of, I guess, was your brother and sister, you know, similar to the movie. You see as they're slowly fading away, I have to make sure that I hurry up and be able to finish, which sometimes is just near impossible. Oh, come on, thank you. I knew it had to be close. And then all of a sudden, they look at each other, and their heart goes over their head, and yeah, I completed it. So what else is left? Well, of course, it's more street running, but after that, we actually get to go in the time machine and escape the hardness that is Back to the Future Part 1 on the NES. But we have to complete some more streets, and I guess now it's completely dark out, as we now have a darker shade of gray than the first level. And still nothing exciting going on. The same hornets, the same trash cans, the same everything. As we've already seen, someone's still setting up bowling pins in the middle of the street. This makes absolutely no sense. It's still going on as I use my skateboard to just kind of slide past, throw some crap at some people, and just try to complete these streets as quickly as I possibly can. And more point bonus racking up. Yeah, it's something we've already seen, but it continues no matter what. Okay, let's get to the map and go right back in, and let's continue on with the next street. Oh yes, as I have 6 lives that I built up, which really isn't that many considering how many trial and error it takes to actually get good at this game. I mean, really only having a few lives, I just jumped over that railing right there. I think you just need to keep grabbing enough clocks in order to make sure that the picture at the bottom stays solid. I think that's which is pretty easy to do overall. But I think that's the only point of actually picking up the clocks, other than getting a random bonus at the end of each level, which, whatever. Unless you, like I said, you're going for the world record for score, who really cares? As another point bonus racking up is going on, this will quickly complete. I think the only thing good is at least they're not too long of levels. At least we're not sitting here dying of like the longest levels ever in gaming. But it still doesn't make them any less interesting to look at, you know. Plus, of course, the music that's been looping since the beginning of the game. The only time there's another song in the entire game is the cutscene, a little minigame at the dance. With all the music notes and all. That's the only other time there's another song other than the current one playing going on in the game. Which, at least they did 2 songs. Is that really a good thing to say, or is that a bad thing about the game? Oh, that's, you know, a positive. They have more than 1 song at least play once. I mean, that's really not a positive towards any game. If you haven't already blown your brains out from listening to this song on loop, you should really just go ahead and download the MP3 of it, put it on your iPod, and turn the volume all the way up, and have it on internal loop, and see how long it takes you to blow your brains out. Just seriously, it's like the worst tune ever. It just doesn't make any sense. But that was Beam Software's music department for the most part. I mean, do you really remember that many great compositions made from the Beam Software development team? No, exactly. There really isn't that many. I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 good songs. They made a lot of games during this time frame, so I'm sure they had to have at least 1 or 2 catchy songs, but not in the Back to the Future games, I know that much. Rack up another amount of it, but at least this is the end. That was the last street. So here we go with the actual final minigame, as it's going to come up here. And basically for this one, this is my only chance to actually get Back to the Future. So what happens is, I have to get up to 88 miles per hour, at least that's part of the actual film, thankfully. And anytime these lightning bolts hit the ground, they leave like that yellow smudge. You just saw like someone blew their nose on the street. And I have to dodge all of them. If I hit them, I slow down. But I have to be going exactly 88, which is max speed, when I hit the line at the end, you know, the wire at the end, just like the movie. And there we go. I blast off, and that completes the game. It says, congratulations, you've made it back. All your time travel is behind you now. Maybe. Because, of course, there's a sequel to this game, Back to the Future Part 2 and 3. And if you're interested, of course, going over the True Gaming to see the Back to the Future Part 2 run I did back in November. And, of course, stay tuned for Back to the Future Part 3 coming up later. I'd like to thank you for watching. And, of course, I hope you enjoyed.